Hi, it's Tuesday, April 7th. I'm Sarah, your friendly neighborhood prevention specialist, and today's class is about cyberbullying, and it's for grades 3rd through 5th. So I'm sorry I couldn't go live with you today at 1 o'clock, but I have some training that I need to do, and they overlapped, so I'm video taping early, and this will be online. And of course, in the video description will be a link to Google Classroom. And what I'd really like you to do is go on there, and hopefully you can see this. It's called Sandra's Story. I would like you to print that off and follow along with me. There will be places during the video where you can pause and write down your answers. And of course, I would love to know your answers. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you have any questions, so you can leave those in the comments section below the video, or you can do that on Google Classroom. And I would love for you to subscribe to the link below, the little bell. You would be a subscriber to the Beyond Survival page, and that way you could get all the content that we are teaching. And not only that, but when we do other fun stuff on YouTube. All right, so we're going to get right into the lesson. Again, it's about cyberbullying for grades 3 through 5. So it might seem a little early for 3rd graders, but or even 4th or 5th graders. I was at a rural school recently, and well, not super recently, since we're all learning from home now, but more than half of the 5th grade class had TikTok and other social media accounts. So it's important that we talk about this before, hopefully before it happens or before it gets too bad, because nobody wants to be bullied ever. Nobody wants that feeling. So what is cyberbullying exactly? So cyberbullying is when a person is continually, it's not like one post, when someone is continually mocking or mean or making threats or basically wanting another person to feel scared or upset, sad, angry, whatever those negative feelings are. They do it repeatedly, and they do it over either social media or text. It's typically done online, and it can be done anonymously. So unlike bullying when maybe you're at school or in person, that you know who that person is because they're saying something directly to you. So cyberbullying is done online, and sometimes it's anonymous. So what is the difference between joking, being mean, and bullying? I would love for you to pause the video and write down your answers for the difference between joking, being mean, and bullying. Okay, hopefully you've thought about or written down your answers. So joking is just that. It's joking. It's meant for everybody to have a laugh, and it's not necessarily hurtful. Joking is when everybody's having fun. Being mean is usually like a one-off, like that person was really mean to me today, or they made a mean remark. Bullying, again, is habitual, and that's a big word for consistent, over and over and over. Sorry, my nose itches. Okay, so when it's over and over and over, and then of course, like we talked about, cyberbullying is when that happens consistently, but online, either through social media, email, texts, however that happens. Okay, so we're going to get into Sandra's story. So again, I'm hoping that you can see this, and I'm hoping that you can print it off. If you can't print it off, just write down your answers on a blank sheet of paper. That's perfectly fine. There's no need for you to print it. You can just write it down. Okay, so before we do that, we need to go through a couple of definitions, 3 to be exact. So there's target, bully, and bystanders or upstanders. Okay, so let's talk about what those are. The target. The target is the person who is being bullied. The bully, of course, is the person or persons doing the bullying. Bystanders and upstanders. So what's a bystander? A bystander is somebody who sees an event but isn't necessarily part of that event. So for example, you're walking down the hall in school during lunch and you see two people get in a fist fight. Okay, so you're not necessarily part of that event, but you see the event. So that makes you a bystander. An upstander is a bystander who intervenes for the better. So an upstander is not somebody who gets out their phone and takes video of the fight. No, that's again a bystander. And now they've become part of the event and not the best part of the event. So an upstander is somebody who, for example, we'll keep going with the fist fight analogy, would go and get a teacher or try to break up the fight by causing a distraction. If you know one of the people, say holler their name and say you got to stop, you're going to get in trouble, things like that. So an upstander is somebody who tries to intervene safely. Never intervene if you think you're going to get hurt directly. Go and find somebody who can help you. Either elicit help from those around you or go find a teacher or a parent or a police officer, whoever you need to find that can help you intervene in a situation. So the target is the person being bullied. The bully is the person or persons doing the bullying. And the bystanders and upstanders are the folks who see the event, and the upstanders are the people who step in and try to intervene for the better. Okay, so we're going to jump into Sandra's story. I'm going to read this to you. And again, if you do not have, nose is still itchy. If you don't have the ability to print this paper, that's perfectly fine. You can write it down on a blank piece of paper. All right, so the story is, Sandra is planning a birthday party. Her parents have set a limit of 15 kids, so she can't invite everyone she'd like to. Two kids who were not invited, Jesse and Maya, overhear the plans. They decide to spread mean rumors about Sandra using an anonymous messaging app. They say things like, Sandra is so not cool. I don't know why anyone would go to her filthy house. I heard Sandra is having fruit instead of cake. Gross. Sandra's totally boring, and I don't know why anyone would go to her party. They encourage the students who were invited to the party to add reasons to why Sandra isn't cool, and they tell them not to go to her party. When Sandra logs on to the app and sees the messages, her stomach sinks. She feels hurt and embarrassed and doesn't know who's posting the messages. She tells her parents she's sick so she won't have to go to school the next day. She even thinks about canceling her party. Okay, so in this situation, who is the target? Who is the bully or bullies? And who are the bystanders or upstanders? If you want to pause the video and take a moment to write these things down, who is the target? Who are the bully or bullies? And who are the bystanders or upstanders? Feel free to do that now. Okay, we are back. So hopefully what you wrote down for target is Sandra. Sandra is the one being bullied. The bullies are Jesse and Maya, the ones who are saying mean things about her on the anonymous messaging app. And the upstanders or bystanders are Sandra's other friends who were invited to the party. We don't know enough yet to know if any of the bystanders became upstanders. Okay, the second question. If you were Sandra, how would you feel in this situation? Would your feelings be the same or different from Sandra's feelings, and why? So take a moment to pause the video and write down your answer. If you were Sandra, how would you feel in the situation? Would your feelings be the same or different from Sandra's, and why? Okay, hopefully you wrote something down. I would love to know what that is. If I was in this situation, I would feel pretty sad that people were writing things about me and saying mean things about me. I would also be confused. Who's saying this? Because remember, it's an anonymous messaging app. I would probably feel a lot like Sandra does. Okay. Question number 3. Why do you think Jesse and Maya acted the way they did? Could anything have been done so they wouldn't have acted this way in the first place? So, why do you think Jesse and Maya acted the way they did? Could anything have been done beforehand so they would not have acted this way? Take a moment to pause the video and write down your answer. Remember, with these, there are no right or wrong answers. As long as you're answering honestly, there's no right or wrong answer. All right, hopefully you took a moment to pause the video and write down your answers. Again, I would love to see them in the comments or in Google Classroom. I think Jesse and Maya acted the way they did because they felt left out. Feeling left out really stinks. Nobody likes to feel left out. They're probably angry or embarrassed. Maybe they're confused as to why they were left out. Without an explanation, maybe they think Sandra doesn't like them anymore, even though they used to be friends. And they're angry, so they're lashing out. That's what happens sometimes when people get angry, is they lash out. Unfortunately, that always makes the situation worse. Maybe Sandra could have explained to people in the beginning, I can only allow a certain amount of people, but I would love to do something with you another day. I'm so sorry. However, that's a little bit victim blaming. That answer is a little bit victim blaming in that the responsibility to not get bullied was put on Sandra. And I think the responsibility not to bully is on Jesse and Maya. So that's something to think about. All right, number 4. If you were Sandra, what would you do to try to stop the cyberbullying? If you were Sandra, if it were you that this was happening to, what would you do to try to stop the cyberbullying? I want you to pause it and write down your answers. Okay. There's, again, no right or wrong. Well, there's wrong if you choose physical violence. That's the wrong answer because violence is not going to fix the situation. But there's several things that you can do. You can don't respond or retaliate. If you're angry, you might say things you regret. And a lot of times people are trying to get a reaction out of you. Bullies are trying to get a reaction out of you. You can block them. You can block the messages online, block the person from your friends list if you know who it is. You can just delete the app altogether for a while. You can use reporting tools. Some apps and websites offer ways to report or flag bullying. The site might block or suspend the user. That they may or may not. You can report it, but it may or may not go anywhere. Take a screenshot of the messages. This could be important to show your parents or another trusted adult if bullying doesn't stop or if it escalates to threats of physical violence. Talk to a friend. I know when someone makes me feel bad or when I let someone have that effect on me, I like to talk to my friends. I like to talk to my best friend or my brother or my mom or dad or my sister. I like to have somebody to talk to and kind of put all those feelings out there on the table and then sort them out. And tell a trusted adult. If you're being bullied, tell a trusted adult. This could be a family member, a counselor, a teacher, a coach. It's not tattling, it's standing up for yourself. And you have the right to stand up for yourself. So if you have other answers than the examples that I gave you, I sure would love to hear them. Okay, so number 5, if you were one of Sandra's friends, how could you be an upstander in the situation? So you're one of Sandra's friends and you see the messages and you see what's going on and you know that your friend Sandra is upset about it. If you were Sandra's friend, what would you do in that situation? So go ahead and pause the video and write down your answer. Okay, hopefully you did pause the video. You could reach out to Sandra, find out how she's doing, just listen to her. You could tell a teacher, a coach, a parent, or another trusted adult. Encourage Sandra not to respond to the posts. Don't give Jesse and Maya what they want, and encourage her to ignore the messages. I'm sure there are lots and lots of other ways that you could be a wonderful upstander to Sandra in this situation, and I would love to hear them. Again, please leave your comments below or on Google Classroom. So the thing I want you to think about, though, is how you would feel if you were getting cyberbullied. And remember that it is a big deal. Some kids think, oh, it's just, talking junk about someone. It's just talking crap about someone. And that it's not a big deal. It is. There are kids all across the country who literally commit suicide because they are bullied and they can't take it anymore. It's very serious, and it can really, really damage someone's mental health. In the short run, sometimes in the long run, it really hurts. And I want you to think about if it was you getting bullied or someone that you really cared about, like your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mom, your aunt, your dad. If someone you really cared about was getting bullied, how would you feel about that? Would it upset you? Now, normally when I teach this class, I'm in a class and we talk about it and it's very interactive, but I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about how you can be a good upstander in all these situations, how you can help stop cyberbullying, because you can, what you can do to stop cyberbullying. I know that you guys are going to be, at least in Washington State, out of school for the rest of the year, and you won't go back until fall. Now is a great time to start new habits, like being a good upstander and not cyberbullying and not feeding into that kind of culture. Your school is a community, and when you go back to school in the fall, you have the ability to nurture your community into what you want it to be. If you want it to be a fun place where you learn and people are kind to each other and you don't have to be scared or nervous, you can do that. You can do that. I totally believe in you, and I know that you can. All right, remember to leave your comments about your answers below. If you have any questions, you can leave those as well, or on Google Classroom. I will be back with you next Tuesday for you 3rd to 5th graders, and I don't know what we'll be talking about yet, but we'll be talking about something cool. All right, I hope you have a really great Tuesday, and remember, be kind and wash your hands. Bye-bye.